Nicholas's murder sparking protests across the nation, including right here in Metro Atlanta. A peaceful group gathered in downtown Atlanta. That's where we find Atlanta News First reporter Yasmina Alston. Yasmina, what was their message tonight?
Well, Tori, people say they are tired of fighting for the same things with no change. The message at today's protest was justice for Tyre Nichols and the many others who've been killed by the police.
My heart goes out to Tyre Nichols.
Standing, chanting, and fighting for Tyre Nichols. This group gathered in downtown Atlanta today to demand justice and changes to a system they say doesn't protect the people, as another black man in America is killed during an encounter with police.
It took seeing 5 police officers beat a man to death or know that it happened and know that footage was coming out for people to actually see police get locked up.
Footage showing 5 former Memphis officers fatally beating Tyre Nichols released Friday night, and outraged communities took to the streets.
No justice!
We watched the video and we are appalled. Actually, I was crying. I was heartbroken. I imagine that one of my brothers, my cousins, my nephews, that it could be them.
Michelle Parks brought her family to the peaceful protest Saturday.
Can't sit at home and just allow these things to happen. I want my family to understand that we're going to take a stand against institutionalized oppression in whatever form.
The officers are now charged with murder in Nichols' death, but protesters say there's still justice to be fought for.
Hey, hey! Oh, these killer cops have got to go!
And the gatherings are not over here in Metro Atlanta. There is a vigil for Tyre Nichols tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the Decatur Square. Live in downtown Atlanta, Yasmina Alston, Atlanta News First.